we oftentimes give food the leftovers, so to speak, like not to use a pun, but like, we treat food as like the last thing. So it's like we pick a hotel we like when we travel that we want to stay at, not based on food, but based on where we want to stay at. And then we're just like left, oh, I'm hungry. What am I going to eat real quick? Well, I'm already hungry. My defenses are down. I guess I'll go grab that burger over at the, the fast food place.
Yes, we go after what we prefer in terms of our taste buds.
Yeah.
So generally for me, I choose my nutrition based on the nutrition value and the nutrition density of every calorie in that food, rather than, oh, what do I feel like eating?
Yeah.
Because that, again, is kind of instant gratification thing, not the long-term kind of thinking that we want to adopt. Yeah,
I'm going to pull two different episodes of this podcast together at the same time. We interviewed a guy named Justin Donald, who's a good friend of mine, who's he's author of a book called Lifestyle Investor, and he's a brilliant investment mind. Like, he knows how to buy companies and invest in companies and all that. But one of the tips of advice he gave was, he said, sit down and create your investment criteria when you're in a non-emotional state. Like, this is logically what I do to invest. And he's like, he has the same thing for real estate. It's like, this is what I will buy. And we have that at Open Door Capital. When we buy a deal, we know, like, we almost could have AI or a robot replace our underwriter someday, because it's very
scary.
yeah, exactly. But it's just very does it have a population of over 100,000 people within 15 miles? Check. Does it have this? Does it have this? And it's very formulaic because we built those rules in logic when we weren't emotionally attached to a deal. Justin was saying the same thing about all investment criteria. So what you're basically saying, to pull it all together, is we should have some investment criteria that we create when we're not emotionally starving, when we're not this is what I eat. I eat potatoes, I eat this. When I go to a restaurant, I order off the sides, and I do this. And now all of a sudden it's not as hard. It's now, this is my rules.
Yeah. What comes to mind is the quote, I don't know if somebody else said this, but I like to say it all the time. If man touched it, I don't want to eat it. If man created it, I don't want to eat it. So I want to eat things that Mother Nature made. So that could be on that list. Basically, hey, did man touch it? Is it packaged foods? If it is, then I don't really want a piece of that. Yeah.
How do you view alcohol today? What's your thoughts on alcohol?
Alcohol is, a topic that, there are a lot of opinions about the health of alcohol. Some people say that alcohol makes them, is actually good for health, well, in small doses, right? For me, it doesn't resonate much anymore. And so I quit drinking alcohol regularly about 2.5, 3 years ago. And I do believe that it is toxic. So alcohol is an opener. It's a heart opener. And so I had a patient once that said, hey, I have chest pain, and I feel so weird telling you about this, but I take a shot of whiskey when I have heart pain, and my heart pain goes away. And I'm like, yeah, that actually makes sense, because it's a heart opener. It will dilate your cardiovascular system, right? And so there are some benefits to alcohol, generally speaking, in that it can basically promote circulation, but at the same time, at what cost? The cost is that it's still a toxin at the end of the day, and so it will engage your liver and make somebody who's hot, for example, even hotter. It will basically put a load on your body that the body then has to process. And so I just don't resonate with alcohol anymore. If I'm going to a party and everybody's drinking, I don't feel that I need to drink anymore. But that's a personal choice. At the same time, I don't restrict myself of anything, including alcohol. So if I want to have a little sip of wine, I'll have a little sip of wine. Yeah.
Very cool.
How about you? Where are you with that?
Good question. I'm a big believer that alcohol is poison. I'm also a big drinker of poison. And so I very much value, I went off alcohol entirely for 3 months, from January, February, March this year. No alcohol whatsoever. And I'd like to say I felt so much better and I was sleeping better. No change. I didn't feel any change, which I think is a good thing. It means I wasn't drinking too much beforehand. I didn't really crave it. It wasn't a big deal. I went 3 months with no alcohol and it was fine. The only thing I just missed the social aspect of it during that time. And I found some good ways. It was a good experiment. I found some good ways to enjoy social activities without it. I discovered, it's fun to try. A lot of fancy restaurants especially are getting on the mocktail train. Sure. And there's a lot more interesting ways to hang out with people. So I'm not a big drinker, but I'm a frequent drinker. What I mean by that is like I will have like a something almost every day.
Yeah.
But I look at that, I'm like, there's no way that's good for me. Like there's no way that's good for me, and I know that. But I have not gone through the pain of not doing that yet. I haven't stopped entirely.
Yeah. And I think, generally, if you don't have a whole lot of health issues, you might not feel the relief of quitting drinking.
Yep.
Right? If you're super sick, you drink a little bit of alcohol, it might make you sicker.
Yep.
But generally, if you're feeling good on a daily basis and you're doing all these things to make you feel even better, the gap is only this far,
Yep.
right? And so it's not going to make as huge of a difference.
Yeah.
I think as we get older, it might resonate with you to not drink as much,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Or if you had, if your back pain got worse, and hopefully it doesn't, maybe I can help you intercept there.
Yeah.
But, you would be more encouraged and motivated to drink less.
Yep.
And so that's definitely something that can compound over time. And, for the type that I had, identified you as for the health profile, the drinking can make it worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a health coach that I've been using for years, like an app called My Body Tutor.
Yeah.
And I put in my food every day and I have some coach that looks at it. And it's been really helpful because just accountability, knowing someone's going to look at what I'm eating, I eat healthier because of that, right? But one thing the CEO of that company, Adam, what he always says, and I love this, is make indulgences memorable. Like if you're going to indulge in something, make it a memorable thing. So grabbing chips on the counter just because I'm bored, I won't remember that 15 minutes later. Like if you're going to remember it 2 weeks from now, like that's when I want to, like if I had to pick a perfect drinking life or even just like sweets life, like how would I eat sweets? How would I eat crap? It would be only memorable moments, right? If we're having a fancy dinner on the side of a mountain hanging out and somebody's brings out a bottle of wine or a bottle of scotch, that's when I want to drink.
Yes.
I don't want to do it because I'm sitting in bed watching Netflix drinking a beer. Like that sounds a terrible life. Like, yeah, I'm trying to avoid that. Only drinking when it's memorable is what my goal is.
I remember the one time I drank last year. And it was at Burning Man. One of my friends offered a really nice bottle of wine. And so we're at Burning Man in the desert, and he pulls out a really nice bottle of red wine, and he offered me some. And so I said yes. And so that's the time I drank last year. And it was just maybe a glass or not even a glass, But yeah, I totally subscribe to your way of thinking about making it memorable because oftentimes we have so many events per year, right? This person's birthday, that person's birthday, this holiday, that holiday, Valentine's Day, Christmas, Thanksgiving. And so we have so many excuses or reasons to actually indulge, and it doesn't become special anymore, right? So I want to make these events where I'm indulging a little bit special. Yeah.
Yeah,
Love
I don't,